Alright, in this video we want to practice writing the equations of lines which are parallel or perpendicular to some other line. So the first thing we have to know is two lines that are parallel, and by the way the symbol for parallel is that right there. Two lines that are parallel have the exact same slope. They'll never actually meet. If you look at those those two purple lines that I just drew, this one they're going to kind of always rise and run at the exact same rate. So simple example, suppose my first line is 2x plus 1. Suppose I had a second line 2x minus 2. The slope for both of these is 2, so these are always going to go up 2 and over 1. They will never actually cross or intersect at all. Okay, perpendicular lines have not the same slope. Perpendicular lines have slopes which are negative reciprocals. So what does that mean? Suppose that I have some first line and it's 2/3 x plus 5. That means the line that's perpendicular to this, or a line that's perpendicular, there's infinitely many, but a line that's perpendicular would be a line that has a slope of, that's the negative reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2, and the negative reciprocal would be negative 3/2. So negative 3/2x plus anything, so plus 1, let's say. Okay, negative perpendicular lines are lines that look like this. Here's a line that's perpendicular. They meet at a 90-degree angle. So we have a three-step process to be able to write this equation. We have to, for number 7 and 8, we have to write the equation of a line that has these conditions, that passes through this point and that's parallel to this line. And we'll call this line A. That's the line they're giving us. That's not the line we want to find. We want to find a different line, which we'll call line B. Okay, here's our strategy. First of all, find the slope of the new line. That means find the slope of line B. And they're telling us here that the line B is going to be parallel to this line. And we said above, parallel lines have the same slope. So that means line B is also going to have a slope of negative 3/2 because it's parallel to this line right here, which we're calling line A. Okay, we don't know what B is. That's our second step. We've got our first step, find the slope. Second step, find the y-intercept, find B, by plugging in this point that they give us. And we've done this in prior videos, and we had to write something in slope-intercept form when they gave us a point and the slope. So we have the slope. Now we just need to plug in this point. So I'm going to plug in. Let me rewrite this for a sec. We don't know what B is, but I'm going to plug in this number for x, negative 2, because that's an x value. And I'm going to plug in this number for y, 1, because that's a y value. And now we can proceed to solve this. So the 2's will cancel there. We're left with negative 3 times, this becomes a negative 1. So negative 3 times negative 1 is 3, plus b equals 1. We'll subtract 3 from both sides, and 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So there is our equation right there. We just have to replace the plus b with negative 2, or minus 2. And that line right there is parallel to this line. If you wanted to graph them, you'd be able to tell. In fact, let's graph it real quick just so we can see. So line A has a slope, has a y-intercept at negative 4, which is right there. And then negative 3/2 means go down 1, 2, 3, and go over 1, 2. So that right there is a rough picture of what line A looks like. Okay, line B, I'll do that in a different color. I'll do it in blue. Line B has an intercept at negative 2, and then go down 1, 2, 3, go over 2. And when we connect the dots, you can see line B is that blue line. It's parallel. They'll never meet. They'll never touch. Alright, try and see if you can pause the video and give number 8 a try as well. Okay, so same idea, same process here. Once again, we'll call this line right here, we'll call it line A. And we want to find a completely separate line, which we'll call line B. And its first thing is perp means perpendicular. It's perpendicular to that line. Perpendicular lines do not have the same slope. They have slopes which are negative reciprocals. So the reciprocal of 4/5 is 5/4. The negative reciprocal, this is already negative right here. So the negative reciprocal of a negative will be positive, positive 5/4. And we don't know what B is yet. We know, you might say, well, don't we know that B is negative 5? No, negative 5 is the B for this line A. But remember, we're trying to find a totally separate line here. We're trying to find line B. The only thing we know about line B is that it's perpendicular to line A. That's all we know. Okay, this is our x value, which I can plug in right here. and then we are also given a y value -2, which I can plug in here. And now let's solve this. So the 4 cancels with that 4. We're left with 5 times -1, which is -5, plus b equals -2. We'll solve this by adding 5 to both sides, and we end up getting -2 plus 5 is 3. So b is equal to 3. So that is the equation of our line. And then just to see how it looks, let's graph each of these. I want you to try to pause it and see if you can graph that, just to test this out. It's good practice to be able to try to graph these. So here's our first line. We'll graph line A. We'll graph that in blue. It has a y-intercept at -5. I'm just going to put some markings on here so we can see what we're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so our first line, line A, has a y-intercept at -5, and then -4/5. That means go down 4/5, but it could also mean go up 4 and to the left 5. So I'm going to do that instead. So up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be the same as if we went down 2, 3, 4, and then we went over 5. You can see we get the same line either way. Alright, so here's our, sorry, that is not a very straight line, but hopefully close enough. So line A is what we just graphed. Now the second line that we draw, I'll do that in purple. That's line B. Line B should be perpendicular. So it has a y-intercept of 3, so we'll go up here to 3. And then we can go either up 5 to the right 4, or let's go down 5 to the left 4, because it will meet more easily with the blue line that way. So down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see when we do that, first of all, notice how it says it passes through -4, -2. That purple point right there is -4, -2, and you can see they are perpendicular. They meet at a 90-degree angle. So that is how you graph parallel and perpendicular lines.